Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is KarQ. Today, we had the Overwatch 2 mid-season balance patch. It's not that big of a patch, but we did get the new Battle for Olympus free-for-all mode and a couple of spicy Junker Queen buffs, but I'm just going to tell you now, there were no Roadhog changes. But Aaron Keller, the game director, did say on Twitter today, actually, that the Roadhog changes will come later in January. So we're going to get like a late season patch with another adjustment. So there's only like 5 weeks left in the season. We'll see when that comes out, but today's patch was quite a big one. But before we talk about what changed today, I have to give a shout out to MSI, who sent the 4070 Ti, the RTX 4070 Ti from NVIDIA in collaboration with MSI. This is a live chat, by the way. This is an authentic reaction to the brand new 4070 Ti. Who wants it in the chat? Unfortunately, you're not gonna get it because it's going in my computer. MSI's Trifrozer 3 thermal design enhances heat dissipation all around the graphics card. It's got Torx Fan 5.0, which is linked by ring arcs and a fan cowl work together to stabilize and maintain high pressure airflow. They've got core pipes, airflow control, and there is the exclusive MSI Center software that lets you monitor, tweak, and optimize your MSI products in real time. I just want to comment on how nice and amazing this looks. Da-da-da. Da-da-da. Triple fans. Wow. Unbelievable. Thanks, MSI. 4070 Ti. Out today. Overwatch 2 retail patch, seasonal mode, Battle for Olympus. I haven't tried it yet. I'm 5 hours late. The patch came out 5 hours ago. First of all, the competitive play change is 2023 competitive Capture the Flag begins on January 10th and can be found in the competitive play moment. You know how they added push? Imagine if they actually made a really nicely balanced competitive Capture the Flag mode. Like as a game mode itself, in regular comp, not an exclusive one, forcing people to play it. Wouldn't be that bad on paper if it was okay. I don't know if CTF sucks, but I don't play it that much, but it seems okay. There's just a couple of, they might have to have a specific balance for it, but who knows. Competitive play loading screen's been updated. Okay, we'll see what that looks like. All right, let's talk about the changes here. Spicy Junker Queen buffs, as noted by Alec Dawson, the lead hero designer last month. And spicy they are. Adrenaline Rush now heals for the remaining wound damage when an enemy dies with wounds all on them. So if you kill a target, whatever the wound was supposed to heal will heal that remainder as a flat amount. The Carnage Axe Swing or the Jagged Blade only heals a smaller amount, like 30 or 40, not too big of a deal, but this is probably the most impactful with your ultimate, because your ultimate does 100 damage and it heals, the ratio of healing is now 125 or 1.25 to 1. So it's instant heal. So if you kill somebody with with your ultimate Rampage, like 3 targets, and like a single one of those targets dies, you will get back like a flat 80, 100 HP, depending on how much wound was left. This is a snowbally character. Think Genji elimination reset, except now you get reset health, if that makes any sense. This is even more significant, which is Carnage. That axe swing is now cooldown is now reduced by 2 seconds for each enemy it impacts. So this is an 8-second cooldown by default. If you hit one person, it's on a 6-second cooldown. Most of the time, you're probably only gonna hit one person, right? You throw your Jagged Blade on someone, you pull them in, and you follow up with one swing. For the most part, I'm going to expect people to at least hit one person each time, unless they get it like booped back or whatever. So overall, we're gonna call this cooldown now at 6 seconds instead of 8, and that's a 25% increase in its overall uptime. I think that's quite significant, with the potential of more, of course, if they're clumped together, right? You could, if you hit 4 people, it resets, and it resets again. So you swing once, swing twice. And I heard today that some people are saying that it's bugged right now, where you can also charge this cooldown reduction. Like it's not an enemy that it impacts. Apparently, if it impacts deployables like turrets, Hammond mines, fences, monitors, and some walls, it's giving them the extra 2-second cooldown. So clearly that's bugged. That's not supposed to work that way. It should only be an enemy, not a player enemy entity or a player pet. I'm expecting that to change, so I don't want to like reinforce that idea, but I mean, for now, I don't even think it's bug abusing if you just like swing. I mean, why would you swing a wall for no reason? Actually, the only practical sense to abuse or use this bug is if you're actually going for a swing and you whiffed, like they're out of range, just turn around and hit a wall really quickly, and hopefully it'll reset it for you. And you have like that slow wind up animation to just like, I don't know, pick something to reset it off of. Sure. Okay. So this is huge, by the way. The uptime, this thing does a lot of damage. It's 90 damage plus 40 bleed, 130 over time. And the fact that this is on a way higher uptime, and if you kill them, you'll get extra health from your passive. And also the Jagged Blade, which is the thrown knife, the impact damage reduced from 80 to 50. The flat damage went down, but that 30 damage difference is now made up as a wound to the stuck target, and it stacks with wounds caused by quick melee or returning Jagged Blade hits. This is a nerf. This is the buff. This is like a net neutral change, because you can argue that lower burst damage is worse because like it gives the opportunity for enemies to heal up, like the slower bleed, but you get to heal a little bit more over time. So there's pros and cons of both. I'm going to say this is more of a neutral change, but for now, like these two changes are really, really huge for her. I will say that. And if you guys have any like questions for the Junker Queen changes and they look like myths I want to bust, we're going to put that in the Mythbuster video. Is this a conspiracy theory? Low key, I think these Junker Queen buffs are to help sell some more battle passes, you know, Zeus, Olympus, FFA. Zarya received 2 buffs here. Energy degeneration reduced from 2.2 to 2 per second. That's a buff. That means you deplete less per second. You can maintain higher charge. You don't decay as quickly, although this isn't that significant. 22 energy versus 20 energy over the same period of time. If I'm at 100 energy, I'd go down to 78 energy previously versus 80 now. Although the delay before your energy goes down begins from 1 second to 2 seconds. So the delay before it goes down is actually increased, and that's a buff as well. That means like if you build up energy after 1 second, it doesn't decay yet, you can wait 2 seconds. So if you time a second bubble really quickly, it'll be, if you work the timing a little bit better, you should be able to maintain higher overall energy charge. So this is actually like a decent buff. Like Zarya, after her season 1 nerf, she was like mid-tier. This probably brings her in line to not have those like super like non-stop bubbles like she was in season 1, but at least it matches the overall energy uptime that she used to have, with lower cooldown on the bubbles to like make less use of the actual like invulnerability of the bubbles, blah, blah, blah. I think this is good for Zarya. This is insane, but I'll have to see how this plays out. I still think oh, by the way, I still think Junker Queen loses out to Roadhog. If Hog hooks and stuns her, Hog can hook her out of her ultimate, by the way. And yes, Junker Queen can anti the Roadhog, but I mean, Hog can still get Suzu'd from it, so that's something to keep in mind. I still think up close Hog, the burst damage is too much. And I also think Orisa is a tough matchup. Although Zarya, on paper, is a pretty good matchup against Junker Queen because a single bubble stops the carnage, it stops the bleed, and it stops her from healing. So I think Junker Queen still has some tough matchups like Hog, Orisa, Zarya, but viability definitely went up. I have to play her a little bit today to see if she's like super, super strong. Now, a couple of final changes was Brig. Her health increased from 250 to 300. The shield health, excuse me. That's not that much. If you guys haven't heard, they did mention that Brig is going to be getting a rework on her ultimate, and they have a design they're happy with, but it requires visual effects and other changes before they can implement it live. So they said later. So this is a temporary change. This probably doesn't do much, I'm going to be honest with you. Brig is generally not that popular in the high ranks. I've always said that she's probably fine in the middle ranks, like metal ranks, because she's reliable and easy to get reliable heals for people who may not be as skilled on like Ana or Kiriko. So Brig's still in a tough spot in the higher elos. I don't see this changing anything, to be honest with you. Moira, the Biotic Orb. Dealing damage with Biotic Orb now restores the healing juice. Biotic energy is the healing juice. I think at the high levels, this will not change anything because good Moiras always had great resource management. They would rarely ever run out of healing juice anyways. I would argue this kind of lowers the skill floor for her. It makes her even easier to play because like if you DPS as well, like chuck the damage orb, you do get more heal. Maybe it's trying to reward players to actually heal a bit more after checking out the damage orb. Hard to say, but I think this dumbs her down a little bit more, in my opinion. This is the damage orb, by the way, not the healing orb. Imagine if using a healing orb always gave you more juice back. I guess trying to mix the styles a little bit more. So don't go full TikTok Moira in the back line. I mean, it doesn't change the TikTok Moira playstyle if you're flanking and getting more healing juice back. What healing juice? You're never using it anyways. I still think she's like pretty good for metal ranks, and I'd argue she's kind of underrated at the high ranks. It's just, I think people just find her boring to play, so there's not that many Moira mains. Actually, the rank 1 Moira main, rank 1 player on support NA is a Moira player, Nolan. He's a friend of mine. He's the one who did my Moira tip video with me a year and a half ago. It's an Overwatch skill to climb with Moira, just the decision making on how to calculate both play styles. But like mechanically, you know, there's not much other than like doing cool fade jumps. What is there mechanically to do other than like use your suck, throw an orb, and use your coalescence. It's all about your decision making on how you play and survive with her. So she can be effective. She's just not that popular at high ranks, but I think she's totally fine for most people anyways. Okay, and that is the patch. It's actually quite small. People were like, where's the Roadhog change? I mentioned earlier, Alec Dawson said it's coming later in January, so we do get a second patch later on. There were a bunch of bug fixes in this patch. I'm not reading them all, but I do want to mention a couple of things that are notable. Okay, so I tested this one. Fix Mercy's Guardian Angel, sometimes allowing her to escape Ramattra's Ravenous Vortex. I thought this meant that you can't GA through it now, because when they say fixing the GA, that used to sometimes allow her to escape. Because I remember before, if you try to fly through it, you get pulled down, but then you're just free again. I tried it today, and it still worked. Both ways. So I wasn't sure what this was exactly doing, I'm going to be honest with you. So Tracer fixed an issue where Pulse Bomb would not damage Tracer if it was stuck to an enemy. So this is on for a full month from December to now January 5th. If you stuck someone and you stood by them, you wouldn't take damage. But now they fixed it, so it's back to normal, because this is how it always was for the past 7 years of Overwatch. If you stick someone and you stand near your Pulse Bomb, you should die from it too. That's normal. But yeah, it just wasn't in the game for a while. Now it is. Back in the game, excuse me. Okay, now there's, I think they meant vertical escape. No, I tried the vertical escape for Mercy's GA and it still worked too. I have it in the video on the main channel. Okay, so now there's actually 2 stealth changes I want to point out that were not documented. First one's not a big deal. It's the Hanzo, the animation. Everybody was complaining how nauseating it was because every time you'd fire, you'd do one of these, like you're doing a lateral raise with your arm every time you fired it. The animation is fixed. It wasn't noted. I feel like they could have noted fixed an animation with Hanzo. That would be nice. I understand there's multiple teams that work on Overwatch, and some stuff that people finish and do and fix doesn't make it in the notes for some reason because of like a miscommunication or something, but please write everything down if possible. Not everything, but anything significant. That would be nice. The second thing that was changed was KarQ is actually nerfed. Whether that's another bug that just arose accidentally or not, who knows? When you teleport or swift step as KarQ, it no longer cleanses you of negative effects. So if I'm anti-nated and I TP out, I'm still antied. If I'm taking a dynamite from Ashe and I'm ticking, and I TP, it doesn't cleanse. Don't know why that's happened. If it's not noted, maybe it is another bug that randomly came out. I don't know if I like that, because if you want to keep it consistent, like Sombra, when she translocates, like she teleports from here to here, and I think because she phases out, it cleanses her of the negative effects because she's invulnerable when she teleports. When Reaper Wraith forms, he's invulnerable, so it cleanses him of the anti. When KarQ teleports, she's invulnerable. Well, supposed to be invulnerable, supposed to cleanse it. I think KarQ is still overpowered, by the way. I think she actually needed nerfs in this balance patch, and I'm a KarQ main. KarQ is the hero that I got a new freaking peak with. This is the highest I've been rated in Overwatch ever by playing her, but I really think she's too strong. Still, I think if they want to keep it consistent across the board, you can keep the teleport cleansing it, but you should nerf her ultimate. Her ultimate's still too good, and probably the Suzu. I think, yeah, that's just be consistent on the teleport thing, but you still need to nerf KarQ. And then in this patch, we're missing Roadhog changes, and honestly, I don't know if you guys want Orisa nerfs, but I think we need to tune back Orisa a little bit. I don't know if it's just me. She's a little insane right now, and if you actually keep track of all the previous Orisa changes, she got buffed like 5 straight times since the beta. Originally, Fortify used to not prevent headshots. They brought it back. The damage on her primary fire went up. The heat generation went down. The spear cooldown went down. Now her Terra Surge ultimate goes through all these shields now. Like, she got a lot of buffs. So I think she's not too much, because you don't want to gut her. I think she just needs a slight tune back right now. That's the thing. It feels like the other tanks are okay. Ramattra's kind of settled down a little bit. I still think Ramattra's a little annoying with his movement speed, but he's okay. He's kind of maybe I haven't run into like too many. Maybe Ramattra needs a bit more time. He feels okay. Like he still kind of falls over sometimes. Maybe because people aren't blocking as much as they used to. Who knows? Ramattra seems okay right now. Yeah, everything else seems okay. Now, if we look at the tanks that are quote unquote bad, maybe Wrecking Ball needs a slight fix. Okay, sorry. Ramattra's ultimate might need to be tuned a little bit. Sorry, the range of it, or like something with the movement speed. I don't know. He is kind of crazy. Only in his ultimate though. Everything else seems okay. Sojourn still iffy at the highest ranks. It's mostly because of the Mercy. I actually think Sojourn without a Mercy pocket is whatever. But with a Mercy pocket, she becomes kind of crazy. I'm not sure what they need to do to her because like the damage boost like changes the break point. It is kind of crazy. I'm not sure what they could do to her because like she's not Sojourn's apparently not that OP in the lowest and the lower ranks. I don't know if you guys maybe people just get annoyed at getting railed, but overall she's not like winning every game, I suppose, not on like a 55% win rate or anything too crazy, but I don't know. So for the DPS, it definitely feels like Sojourn needs another look again because she's like pretty close to being okay. It's just the Mercy pocket seems to be bothering it. And then for supports, I think if you tune back Kiriko and you give that adjustment to Brig, that's going to open up a lot more compositions. Because right now I'm seeing a little bit more Zenyatta's because the meta is slowed down, less dive. Brig with that new change could open up Brig Lucio Rush with Junker Queen or Ramatra. You can still run like Kiriko Ana. You can still run Ana Mercy. Baptiste is a solid safe pick. Like I actually think if we tune back Kiriko and make her less of a perma pick, it's going to open up like a couple of viable compositions. And that's basically today's patch. What do you guys think? And I hope the late season 2 patch does something nice to Roadhog and doesn't kill the character. Because like, as much as I don't like Roadhog, I want a nice balanced game where everything is viable in some situations. Like you still want the hero to be somewhat playable. Yeah. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching.